This is Educated Artistry. Hey, everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Educated Artistry. Before we jump into today's episode topic, I want to do a few announcements at the top of the show because I need your guys' help in order to make this happen. I want to do another Halloween special episode. I had done one in 2021 and it was called The Lash Horror Stories, where we did a little bonus episode. And I had you guys write in stories of kind of like horror stories of things that happened to you, whether it's as an artist or as a client when you're getting a beauty service. So I am looking for lash horror stories, and it doesn't even have to just be lash artists. This is open to all beauty business owners, or if you're a client or have been a client where you've gone through like this horrific experience getting a beauty service done, then I want your story. We already have a couple writings and submissions of nightmare clients. In 2021, when I did the episode, we had one where the artist was wearing a glue ring and it was her first time using it and she accidentally like tilted her hand and the glue dripped into her client's ear. So just to give you some examples, that's an idea of kind of the stories that we're looking for, but I want your submissions. This is also open if you just have a spooky story. Like I love spooky things. I love Halloween. If you have a spooky story, then I want you to write it in, whether it has to do with the beauty industry or not. But if you have a horror story in within your business, then I want to hear that too. I'm going to put the submission form in the show notes or the description of this podcast episode. And you have until October 2nd is the deadline to get your story in. And I want to give you guys a little incentive too, right? So I tried to convince my sister to come on and read these stories with me. I think it'll be a fun dynamic. And told her that she can tell her horror story of something that I did as a young lash artist in the early early days of my career, and something that happened to her that was my fault that was horrific for her. So, if you guys wanna hear that story, then I need submissions. I need stories to read so I can actually make this a full podcast episode and a really fun Halloween special. I will say this will be a fun one to watch on YouTube because it's just gonna be I don't wanna give too much away, but it's just gonna be a fun one to actually watch. So, make sure you go submit your story, the link in the bio before October 2nd so you can share your lash horror story. And they can be done anonymous or you can put in your name so you can get a little like shout out on the podcast as well. Completely up to you. So let's get into today's topic because the Lash Conference, you've heard me talk about it throughout this podcast. We just had Paul, the founder, on a few weeks ago, and it is now only, as this episode comes out, like a little over 2 weeks away. Okay. And to me, that's just insane. So if you're going to the Lash Conference this year, or if you plan on going in the future, or maybe after this episode, you're going to buy one of the 30 tickets that are left for sale, then I wanted to share some tips on being an attendee at the conference. So I have attended since 2019, which was their very first year holding this conference. And I've learned a lot of what to do, what not to do, how to prepare, what to bring, what not to bring, what to expect. So I wanted to share with you guys kind of some tips on prepping your business, what to bring. We're going to go through just all of my tips that I've learned from the years of attending the conference. And I've also gone solo and I've gone with friends too. So I've kind of done this both ways. And there is a system that I've gotten a little bit in place to be able to get the most out of my conference and come back feeling refreshed and ready to come back to work because if you've never been to the Lash Conference before and this is your first year, it's a lot. It is in a good way, but it is just jam-packed with so much learning, so much networking, shopping, you're entertained. It's just like overstimulation, right? So I want to take this episode to give you guys some tips on how to prepare, especially since we're only a few weeks away. So Number 1, my number 1 tip is to download the app. So I believe it's on October 2nd, the app is going to open up to attendees. And the app is amazing because it has the entire schedule there. and you can actually, like, kinda make you can pick and choose what you want to do, so you can kinda make your own Lash Conference experience, which is really cool because there are so many things going on all at once, and especially this year at the larger location and where there are brands that have rented out extra rooms and stuff that are doing their own trainings or courses or speaking. There's a lot going on all at different times. So this is a really great way that you can kind of build your own con. Like, who do you want to listen to? What do you want to see? What class are you going to take? All of that stuff. So definitely utilize the app. Make sure you download it, have the schedule, and plan out what your conference experience is gonna be like. Now, the other great thing with the app is it actually will notify you. So it'll be like lunch break or, come back at whatever time, or it'll say this speaker starting, it'll tell you and give you notifications when things come up, which is really cool because it's nice to have it on your phone and get these notifications rather than you will also get like a book pamphlet, but I usually don't even look at that later on. I'm always like just on the app on my phone. Make sure you create your profile, that you connect all of your social media accounts, you put a little bio, like it'll take 5 minutes for you to create this, but there's ways that you can connect with other attendees that are at the conference, which is another really cool way to network and connect. You can go follow their Instagram, you can connect through the app, so you can chat with them through the app, especially if you're looking for lunch buddies or anything like that. It's a really cool way to be able to connect with others that are attending. And I want you guys, I feel like this is such an underrated tip that, like, I don't feel like a lot of people use. Utilize the social wall. There's gonna be a social wall where you can post photos, post updates, text and stuff, and this is something that I didn't even think about. I never had utilized until last year because actually Courtney from Lash Essential had told me, she was like, "Dude, post on the social wall. You're getting a lot of connections." She was able to get a lot of connections with other artists, and there weren't a lot of people posting on it. So last year, I didn't have a booth or anything. I was an attendee, but I had brought little pins and stickers for Educated Artistry, and I was just kinda handing them out, talking to people. I brought my mini mic, so I posted on a social wall, and I was like, "Hey, if you see me, come grab a free pin or a sticker." And there was this was a cool way to have people, come up and talk to me, be like, "Hey, I saw this, like, I'd love to get a pin." So that was really cool because then it kind of invited people to come and say hi, and then I could give them, out this free product that I brought with me. So utilize that social wall for sure. If you have a podcast or you have something going on, like, make sure you're posting about those things on there too and making those connections. So definitely get that app downloaded. I believe you have access to it on October 2nd. So it'll give you about 10 days before the conference to get familiar with it, get your profile set up, start making those connections with other people going to the conference. This is a great way that you can, get a little group lunch date going, or really anything like that. So it's definitely utilize the app. It's a great resource for you. My next tip is going to be your client communication. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are taking time off of work to attend this conference. So I always send out an email. If you prefer to text your clients, that's fine too. But send out communication to your clientele and let them know that you're going to be unavailable for these specific dates while you're at the conference. You're gonna want to be present, and there is nothing worse than having your clients message you and ask you to reschedule appointments or move things around, or they have questions or, anything like that. You're gonna wanna soak in all of the value and kind of put that on the back burner for a couple days, okay? It's just a couple days. So this is also a plus for them that you're attending this conference, right? You're learning, you're gonna grow, gonna be able to give them better experiences, maybe bring better tech into your salon that makes the booking and the customer experience better. So I personally have an email that's gonna go out on October 1st, and this is a great too. You guys, if you text your clients, just write out a note and then send it to everybody. And I just let them know, like, "Hey, just wanna give you guys a heads up that I'm gonna be out of town from this date to this date," and I tell them what I'm doing. I'm like, "I'm attending this conference. At this conference, business skills are taught and there's classes," and if you signed up for, like, Ali's Layer Slayer course, right, Lash Anarchist, you can say, like, "I'm taking this course that's gonna help me," whatever, like, talk about what you're doing and what the conference is for. Like, that's really cool for clients to know that you're going to invest in your business and invest in yourself, which therefore makes it better for them in the long run. So I let them know, like, "I'm gonna be gone from this day to this day. I am not gonna be available to communicate, to switch appointments, to reschedule." So I'm sending this out on the 1st of October, and I said from the 12th to the 20th, I believe, that I'm gonna be out of town. So I say, if you need to move anything around, like, please reach out to me before the 12th, or I will be back and answering messages on the 20th, and I even say, like, "Feel free to message me, but I'm not ignoring you, I promise. I'll get back to you on the 20th when I'm back, and I'll be responding to messages." And then I will also include my booking link in there, so that way they can go in. I do online bookings, so a lot of my clients are able they know how to go in and, like, move appointments around if they need to or anything like that. So I always communicate with my clients to let them know that I'm not gonna be available to contact, I'm not gonna be available to move appointments around or anything, because I don't want them to think that I'm ignoring them and giving them a bad customer experience. But I also wanna make sure that I'm present and it's just kind of one less thing off my plate that I'm gonna have to deal with because it sucks, like, when clients text you or if someone's like, whatever. So you can also post this on your social media too, have a little slide on your story maybe every morning, just be like, "Out of the office, like, not responding. If you need a book, here's my link." But then sending that direct one-on-one communication is gonna be really important for your clients too. So get that set up. That's another thing that you can do before you actually go. Talk to them in person, let them know, and that way you're all good to go, and you're not having to deal with clients while you're at the conference trying to learn and enjoy your time and network. So let's get into the next one, packing. Packing for this conference. Whether you're driving or you're flying, there always tends to be so many things that you need to pack. So the first thing is to check the schedule on the lashconference.com and check out all the themed party nights because there's going to be a couple different ones that you're going to want to bring outfits for if you're going to attend those parties. I will say bring comfy shoes because during the day, like, when you're doing the classes and the breakout sessions, it's gonna be a lot of just kinda sitting, walking around the trade show. You're gonna wanna kinda dress for comfort. A lot of people, I would say, do, like, business casual type of wear during the day, but, do whatever's authentic to you. If you're like, "I like my freaking leggings and my sweater," like, that's fine. A lot of there's a variety. Then some people show up, like, full glam. It's just kind of whatever's authentic to you, but I will say, like, you will be dying if you do not have comfy shoes and you're wearing heels all day, and then you are gonna go into the night and continue to wear heels. At least that's me, like, I'm not a heel girly, so if you wear heels all day, then you may be like, "It's no problem." But I will say to bring comfy shoes, at least. You'll be walking around a lot. Bring an extra suitcase, especially if you're flying, because with your swag bag and then the product that's at the trade show that you're probably gonna purchase something, you're gonna need the extra room or pack maybe a larger suitcase to make sure you give yourself some room. I will say people always are like, "Oh, how am I gonna shove everything back into my bag?" Right? So maybe if you don't bring a carry-on that's pretty much empty that you're gonna be able to put product and stuff in because you will need it, I promise. Another thing that I think is underrated that people don't bring and I now bring every year is, like, face mask, under-eye gels, my cold roller, like, Tylenol, liquid IV, I bring my greens, that kinda stuff, because for me, I tend to get, like, really puffy, especially, like, when I'm attending parties, and if you're partaking in drinking alcohol, you're staying up a little bit later, just traveling, being on a plane in general, like, I just tend to get more puffy. So I feel like my skin feels dry, it gets a little angry, I'm just like, I haven't slept. So I like to bring these things so at night or in the morning, I can use them to just kind of like depuff, like give my skin some love. I mean, even just like the hotel recycled air conditioned air alone, like does horrible things to our skin. So bring those kind of like self-care items with you. Definitely a cold roller is amazing. Also, like the Tylenol liquid IV, just kind of plan ahead because although now there are a lot of options that don't involve the parties, if that's not your vibe, then that's okay. There's gonna be other options that you can do. But I will say people get wild at the Lash Conference, and if you are drinking or partying, staying out late, then this is probably something that I would definitely plan to bring for you, so that way you don't feel like complete shit in the morning and just you kind of feel good taking care of yourself. And you do take a lot of pictures and stuff like that, and I'm sure we just all wanna feel good. So, this is something that too, like, I find that when I'm traveling because I'm, like, eating out more and maybe not drinking as much water as I should be, then I just tend to get, like, a little bit more inflamed. I will say too for packing is to bring and I did this last year, and once again, I hadn't done it any of the other years, is to bring kind of, like, some snacks, right? Like, bring some trail mix or, like, chopsticks or some protein bars. Bring little things that you're especially if you're flying that are easy to pack, dried fruit, like, bring little snacks that you can have, throughout the day because I found sometimes just it gets busy and you're like, I never want to promote you guys to not eat all day, right? Like, we are not about that life when it comes to building a business and taking the best care of ourselves. So, pack little snacks, kind of just, like, be prepared with that too. That has always really helped me because for a lot of the years, especially the first 2 for myself, definitely partaked in the parties and the drinking, and it was I would have a couple little pieces of fruit, maybe a muffin, coffee for breakfast. I would drink coffee all throughout the day, and then I would maybe eat dinner later, but it was like I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't just taking the best care of myself, and then I always felt like shit, especially when I came back. So, those are just a couple things that I suggest packing on your when you're getting ready to go. Now the next one is gonna be your speakers in your classes. So, there's breakout sessions each day where there's gonna be about 3 speakers presenting at the same time. They're gonna be in smaller rooms, and you can choose who you want to attend in person. So definitely go through the schedule, figure out who do you want, what speaker do you want to go see in person, what do you wanna watch, and just kind of get that planned out. But you will still get access to all of the speakers' presentations after the conference. I think Paul usually says it's a couple weeks after the conference is over that they'll upload everybody's presentations to the app, so that way you can or it's to the app or to their website, one of the 2, so that way you can watch the ones you didn't see. So definitely just go through and plan that out. It's gonna make it smoother and a better experience for you if you can kind of plan out who you wanna see their presentation in, before you go to the conference. So, what do you need to bring during the day? When there's gonna be all these speakers, there's gonna be trade show times, there's gonna be different classes, maybe you've signed on for a bonus class. What do you bring during the day? Definitely bring a reusable water bottle. There's gonna be water stations all throughout the conference, so that way you can fill that up, stay hydrated. Bring, like, a light sweater or jacket because when you're sitting down in some of those rooms, it does get kinda chilly. So, definitely bring something like that. Bring your snack, bring your easy little snack. You can have a little snack during the day. I would bring a notebook and a pencil or your tablet to be able to take notes because you're gonna take a ton of notes throughout the conference. A battery pack for your phone or your tablet. I do believe that there's gonna be, like, a quiet area this year, which is really cool, and then there'll be a place for you to charge your phone, so bring your charger with you too, just because I feel like we're taking pictures, we're taking videos, we're on our phones, maybe you're using your phone to take notes. So either bring your charger or a battery pack with you during the day. I would definitely dress for comfort during the day because you're gonna be sitting, kind of walking around. So I would dress, like, more for business casual, be comfortable during the day throughout the conference. The trade show area. So there's gonna be a lot of vendors especially this year, and we're gonna be one of them. So if you come to the trade show, I'm sure that you come stop by the Educated Artistry booth. But I want you to, before you go, take inventory of supplies you may need before going. This is actually a great time to stock up on supplies you love with the discount. I will say that I think that most brands, like, run better deals during the Lash Conference compared to, like, Black Friday sales. Plus, you're not having to pay shipping costs too, so that's just an additional savings as is. So, this is a great time to stock up for the holiday season. Stock up on your favorite adhesive, your favorite lashes, your favorite cleansers, whatever it could be, this is an amazing time to stock up. So, I would go through, take inventory of what you need, especially go look at the Lash Conference website and see which brands are gonna be at the conference, and if you love Lash Reality pre-made fans, which, like, same girl, me too, then, like, and if you need a stock, then maybe you want to see that they're gonna be there, be like, "Okay, I gotta get those," make a list, whatever you need to do. So that way you can kinda make a plan. I will say, especially if you're trying to stay on a certain budget or not overspend and just be smart about what you're buying, then this is a really good idea to go through and then be like, "Okay, I do wanna try this brand's tweezers. I need a new this." So, like, kinda take inventory of the things that you need or the things that you want to look at before you go, because this is gonna give you a huge savings, get you through the holiday season, and everybody loves a discount and not paying crazy shipping prices. So that's gonna be huge as it comes with the trade show, and definitely be open to trying things. There's always different brands there that have, like, innovative products and stuff, so definitely be open to trying things, asking questions, and being curious about it too. This is gonna be a good one. The next one, rest. Rest during the conference. This year, for the first time, there's gonna be a designated, like, quiet area, which is where I believe the charging stations and stuff is. And this is something I was talking to a friend about at the conference last year. I was like, "Oh my gosh, there needs to be an area that's just, like, quiet time." I've always booked a room at the hotel where the conference was, so it was nice that I could go and escape and, like, go to my room for 10 minutes and just decompress, be in the silence, like, take a breath. but not everybody stays at the hotel, right? Some people live in Anaheim or they live close by, and that can be a long day of just like go, 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 and overstimulation. And I'm definitely like, I think it's like an introvert extrovert. Like I can be extroverted, but I need to be like alone to re-energize and to be able to be an extrovert. So LashCon is so fun, but it can be very overstimulating. And if you're like me, you're probably going to want some like rest and some quiet time in order to function and make it through the entire day, let alone 3 days of that stimulation. So this is another thing in your schedule. If you're like, okay, you know what, during this time, I'm going to like go take 20 minutes. I'm going to go into the quiet room. I'm going to charge my phone, whatever it is. I'm going to take a moment if that's something that you think you need. And don't be like ashamed to do that, right? That's what that room is going to be for. And it's going to be great because it is much needed. And I'm excited to use it. You'll probably see me in there. The next tip is going to be network. There's going to be over 1,000 attendees and staff total this year. And I know it can feel overwhelming. I have gone by myself and I've gone with friends. Actually, last year, I went by myself completely, and once again, I am more introverted than I am extroverted. It's been a hard thing to get me, like, to feel comfortable just, like, talking to people and going up to people and pushing myself out of my comfort zone, and I want you to remember that everybody's there for the same goal, right? Everybody's there to learn, to build a better business, to build a more profitable business, and growth does not come in your comfort zone, and this is something that took me a minute to figure out because I remember the first year I went, and Taylor came with me, which she's my old co-host, and she's, like, 10 years older than me. She's definitely more comfortable, more confident in herself, and that this was 2019, and I was so out of my comfort zone. I was so shy, and I just didn't wanna talk to anybody, and so this year, I was like, "Okay, like, I'm going by myself, and I have a goal of networking. I wanted to meet people. I wanted to talk about the podcast. I wanted to get it out there. That's why I brought the free buttons and the stickers. That was something that really pushed me out of my comfort zone. And I'll tell you guys too, at the same time, I did it sober. I did this going by myself and being sober because I just started a fitness program and stuff and it was like no drinking. I was like, you know what, Kayla? Because I always would use alcohol as a crutch in the back to like build the confidence. I think a lot of us can relate with that. So I was like, you know what, Kayla, we're doing this sober and we're doing this by ourselves, right? I think the very last night I had 2 drinks, right? But I did it sober the majority of the time. And I was so proud of myself that I pushed myself out of that comfort zone. And guess what? Guys, everybody is nice and everybody's a little nervous too. Like everybody's a little nervous to talk to everybody else. And it's a little bit uncomfortable and it's a little bit overwhelming. I want you to use this as an opportunity to push yourself out of that comfort zone. Something that I try to do to embody confidence and to talk to people. And I definitely have like resting bitch face, right? So I really try to focus on that where I'm like, look approachable, okay? Like, don't look mean. And I'm not mean. It's just like I have a resting bitch face. And it's really comes from me being shy and me being scared. But something that I do is just like take a deep breath before you go out of your room or whatever. Make eye contact when you're passing people, smile at them. Avoid just staring at your phone and, like, being in a corner to avoid feeling awkward. I want you to stand tall, right? When you go into a class, sit next to people that you don't know, introduce yourself, say, "Hey, is anybody sitting here? I'm Kayla, nice to meet you." People are gonna talk to you, right? People are very friendly. If you know somebody that you haven't met in real life, but you guys chat on Instagram all the time and you build a friendship online and they're also gonna go to the conference, make plans to link up with them, hang out with them in person. That's been one of my favorite things when it comes to networking at the Lash Conference is there's so many people that I've had these relationships with online, and every year at the conference, it's, like, so fun to be able to see them. It's like, "Oh my gosh," that and I there's a lot of men and women that have gone from 2019 that still go every year, and it's like a little reunion every time, and it's so freaking fun. So, I want you to challenge yourself to get out of your comfort zone. Go talk to people. Like I said, once again, like, stand tall, smile, try not to look down at your phone. Be present in the moment. And I know it can be scary, but I also know that you can do it. You can do it because I did it. And if you have to have a little, like, liquid encouragement, that's okay too. But I want you to take full advantage of networking. This is such a wonderful time to be able to meet others you because sometimes, and especially when we're solo, it can feel so incredibly fucking lonely when you're working by yourself and you're like, oh, like, I just do this by myself, it can feel really isolating. And this is an amazing group of people that are all doing the same thing, and we all have this common goal. We all have this common goal to build these wildly successful beauty businesses, to make a difference, to make a change, to inspire, right? So I want you to just push yourself out of that comfort zone. And if you're shy and you are feeling, "Oh my god, I don't know," come to my booth. We'll be besties, okay? Come to the booth and we will hang out. I will introduce you to somebody. I will get you connected. You can come to lunch with me. You can hang out with me and the 2 staff that I'm bringing. We're a good time, okay? So the last tip that I have for you guys is when you come back from the Lash Conference and you're returning to work, I want you to give yourself a day or 2 before you just jump back into clients. Now, I know that you're probably like, "Kayla, I just took 4 days off, 5 maybe 5 to travel, like, I have to get back to my clients." I would really urge you to at least a day. Get back, give yourself 1 full day of just being home, unpacking, unwinding, because you're gonna be so filled with adrenaline that you're at first you're gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm going to get my clients, like, I'm so pumped, I'm excited, I'm driven," but you're gonna get home and all that adrenaline or even get on the plane, all that adrenaline is gonna go away, and you're gonna be exhausted. And it's just because although you've been taking time off from your clients, your freaking mind, body, and soul has been working full force, right? Once again, you're going to be talking and learning. Your brain is going to be working in different ways than it has, and in a different way than it does day to day with our clients. The adrenaline's going to wear off, and you're going to want to rest, sleep, and then come back to your clients in a better headspace and a healthier space for you. So those are my tips. And I will say, guys, I have gone back to work last year. I came back, I had an early flight in the morning, and I took a client that same day. I think I took 2 in the afternoon. I was like, "It's okay, it's just 2. Like, it's fine, I can do that. I can get home, I'll have, like, 3 hours and, like, whatever." I was so exhausted, and I was so like, our clients don't deserve that, right? And this is what I always talk about when it comes to, like, your hours and not taking too many clients, not overworking, because you get to a point where you're not giving your full potential to your client, and that's what they deserve, and that's what they're paying for, right? Like, you at your best. So how can you show up at your best? It's probably not gonna be right after you get off a plane and you're all, like, sweaty and, you're tired and, all that stuff. So, take that moment, take a day, and if you already have clients booked, like, that day or the next day, it's okay to move them, right? It's okay. It's your business, your rules. Maybe you add on a day later in the week, but I will say that you will want to have a day just to, like, recover, get back into the swing of things before you go back to your clients. I believe there are still when I checked as recording this episode, there was still like 30 tickets left, the standard business tickets. So if anybody is last minute and you've been still going back and forth on whether or not you should go to the conference, then you still have some time to grab a ticket. And you can use the code LashCon100 for $100 off. I'm going to have it linked in the show notes, as well as the Lash Horror Stories submission form that you need to get into me before October 2nd. And if you will be there at the conference this year, please come by booth 612 because Educated Artistry will be there. We're going to be doing live podcast recordings. We're going to have some fun merch. We're going to have some giveaways. We're going to have some freebies. And we're even going to have a special surprise, I think, on Saturday. And the only way that you're going to know when that surprise is available is through the LashCon app. So definitely make sure that you get that all set up and we're connected on there so you can be notified when that surprise comes because it's going to be very, very, very limited quantity. And I'm super excited. So thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode. I hope you have a wonderful week and we will see you next Wednesday.